Developers who only run one AI agent are getting crushed by developers who are running multiple. Most developers are all following the same workflow. You open your AI agent of choice, you give it a task, you sit there, you wait, and the agent does its thing. And then afterwards, you review. And it feels productive because the agent is fast. You're shipping more than you used to, but there's a chance there's a developer that's closing 5 times as many tickets as you are right now, who has the same skill level, same amount of hours. He just knows one skill, one gap, if you will, that you haven't figured out yet. And solving that gap is what this video is all about. AI coding right now is still very single-threaded for most developers. You have 1, maybe 2 different terminals working on the same repo, same branch, and the agents are probably stepping on top of each other. This messes up everything when it comes to coding version history and commits, because you might be having one feature working on a bug that is happening and another agent working on developing a brand new feature. Therefore, when you look at the Git history and then the Git commits, you see them all in the same pull request. Now that used to be the default experience when trying to run Claude Code in parallel, because most tutorials didn't teach how to get around this. You had to literally create a Git worktree, which is more or less a clone of the current branch you're on. Then you could finally run multiple branches at once without them interfering with one another. Setting this up was nice, but it was a manual process and you had to know how to do it. However, recently, native Git worktree support shipped with Claude, which means you can now run multiple agents at once on the same repo on different branches without a single file conflict. And I've been running this workflow now for the past few months on real code, on real production shaped features, and has genuinely changed how I ship daily. And here's why it matters today, but it didn't matter, a few months ago. Agents got faster. Claude, Codex, it doesn't matter, can now complete real tasks in like 5 to 15 minutes. Sub-agents are also no longer experimental. And now there's long-running background tasks like build watchers and test suites that need a stable view of the file system. The bottleneck literally used to be hands on the keyboard. You didn't need to have multiple branches because you weren't able to work on a bug and a feature at the exact same time. You only had one brain and one hand on the keyboards. There wasn't really a huge point into having multiple branches running simultaneously. However, now with agents, you can create new contexts per the item they're working on. And this mindset swap is what's changing right now when dealing with agents. However, before I show you the agents running in parallel and how to set that up, I want to talk about a single gotcha most tutorials skip. And I want you to actually hear me on this one because I lost a little bit of time the first time I used Git worktrees because I fell for this gotcha. In essence, a worktree is a fresh checkout of your code, which means the first time I used worktree on a real backend project, I spun up an isolated session for a pagination feature. The agent started clean, read the code base, started writing the middleware. It tried to run the test suite and the tests failed due to a database connection error. It literally made no sense. I was looking at all my logs, Postgres was running, my main checkout could connect fine. However, the credentials were still sitting in your original, directory. I spent way too long debugging Docker before I realized the problem. The .env file did not exist in the new worktree. The agent was trying to connect with no credentials. I was looking at every layer except the one that was actually broken, which means untracked files like .env, or if you have like a .env.local, secret configs, none of that will move to your new worktree branch. And that's because it doesn't live in your Git. Therefore, none of it goes to the worktree. To fix this, we are going to also walk through something called worktree include. You drop it in your project root. It uses your git ignore syntax. Files that match a pattern and are git ignored get automatically copied into every new worktree. This flow applies to pretty much everything. It applies to your sub-agent flows, and it applies to parallel sessions in your desktop app. It has the same behavior, so you set it up once and you kind of forget about it, and it's always going to work now from now on. So I want to make sure I got that gotcha out of the way because I feel like a lot of people fall for it. Now, the biggest thing is to do this, the features must not touch files that other features are touching. So you hypothetically could, but you could run into the idea of a merge conflict. What they perform best at is when they are 5 or more, or however many features or bugs, isolated tickets that do not touch each other. Therefore, the final result would be 0 merge conflicts. So in this project, we have a project called Deal Pulse, which is using arcade.dev, which grabs all the items from our Notion, which is going to be like pipelines of sales. And then we have it connected to our Gmail, which has some fake inbox messages in there. And what this product is going to do is I can say like draft follow-up email, and it's going to look at all the deals over here. It's going to look at our inboxes, and then it's going to draft a response to the individual based on our pipeline. So right here, we can see that it all went through. And then if I show my email, we can see that the draft came through. However, we want to add more features to this project. We might want to add a landing page, maybe a mock authentication platform right now. Maybe it's a pricing page or a pulse lab, which is an AI feature. Maybe a waitlist, like a newsletter. Each one of those items are completely independent from one another. Therefore, we can literally have Claude Code create different work trees to work on these in parallel, but have separate branches that we're going to all merge back to dev. So more or less, you still have your main repo, and you can have all these different branches running simultaneously without interfering with one another, and then you can merge them all back into main. Now, how we're doing this is I created a Kanban board. I think this is one of the best ways of using AI agents right now, is to implement a Kanban board that has a single source of truth, and then having Claude Code read that Kanban board. So right here, I have our Kanban board, which tells Claude what to do before implementing a ticket. And then I'm going to create these Git worktree sessions, and inside them, I'm going to tell it to read the ticket, read the description, read the information. It's going to tell you kind of what it's going to look like. There's a mock inside here, and then it's going to go ahead and implement it, and has the acceptance criteria and all that kind of stuff. It's more or less a ticket tracker that has a whole bunch of information inside. And one thing that's good with implementing your own Kanban board like this is that this is simply HTML. And HTML is becoming one of the most preferred routes when using AI agents because, one, it doesn't matter if it's HTML or MD files. These AI agents can understand them really well. But when you're using HTML files, you can use like iframes and integrate designs and integrate more things. So it makes it really powerful. So I'm going to kind of walk through this Kanban board, passing these sessions or these tickets to different Claude Code sessions. They're going to move them from to do to in progress to done, and we're going to be able to watch them all complete. And it's going to create on different branches, do its own commits, and then merge them back in so we can have the history. And it's just going to be really nice because we can have multiple agents all running simultaneously, all using their own skills, all doing whatever they need to do to make sure that this product comes to life. It's just the one of the best ways that I have found using Kanban boards with sessions and maybe even script loops to really try and make this as autonomous as possible. So what we can do is I have CMux running, which is my preferred way of using Claude Code. And you can see that I have 5 sessions all currently running. So 1 right here, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And they're each pointed at a different ticket. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if we look at this, and we look at our Kanban board, we can see that they're just numbered 1 through 5. So what it's telling us to do is read the agent protocol.md and then work on ticket 001. If we open up our agent protocol, we can see it's going to say you are a Claude Code session running inside the dev branch. The first thing you need to do is to create a dedicated Git work tree owning 1 ticket from kanban.html. 4 other sessions are working in parallel on the other tickets. So the human invocation will look like this. Please read this file on this ticket, and then it'll tell you the ticket number. Wherever this doc says ticket ID, substitute the ID that they gave you. And then it's going to come through here and just essentially just tell it to implement it, test it out, and then merge it back into dev. And this should just all happen automatically. So if we go in here now and we can just kick off each one of these sessions, we should hypothetically, once it starts in the development phase, be able to watch the HTML file move across the Kanban board as it's starting to get progressed. So right now, if we go back into our Git, we can see that they're all in the to-do stage, but it's going to go through here and just kind of watch it start the implementation process. And we can see that it's automatically starting up the skill superpowers. If you are not using the skill superpowers, you are messing up. It is very powerful to use. Okay, so it came back with everything that we needed for right here. We can see that all 5 of our Git work trees have properly merged into dev. They've even said they've all merged into dev. If we go back to our browser, we can see our old deal pulse right here. We already know like how this works, but we kind of created a bunch of things around it. And they were sitting at, oh, and look, our items have moved to done. Perfect. So /landing, and there's a login and sign up, a /pricing, playground page, which is AI with our OpenAI API that I have in our .env file, and our /newsletter. So if we come in here, we just say /landing. Here it is. It's actually not that bad. I mean, it definitely kind of looks AI-y, but like this is not a bad landing page. 1 pipeline, 3 signals, 3 more, morning, common. What LLM do we use? Pulse Lab. Oh, this is the AI right here. This is really cool. So like we can say like quick examples, analyze deal. This really is calling OpenAI because I had the .env with my OpenAI API. So this deal presents a promising opportunity with like right on. We're going to call a couple, like 2 of them right here. So let's just build a real front end for this and back end for API. Pricing is right here, but I don't think like there's not real pricing integrations added. Start free trial. All of those 5 features happened on their own isolated branch, and then we merged those back into dev. And they could easily become pull requests where you push to GitHub. You can do anything you want with that. So it's a very nice thing to do if you want to create, if you want to be able to work on different bugs or different features at different times and not worry about having downstream impacts because they're all on their own isolated branch. Now, I want to be honest with you here. Native work trees are great. They are also the source of every major data loss bug in this area. I'm going to walk you through a real GitHub issue, both still in the tracker, and the discipline that is needed for you to protect yourself from it. Now, before I walk you through the cleanup, I want you to hear the story that made me start taking all this pretty seriously. There's a real GitHub issue filed earlier this year, and here it is. A developer worked for 10 days in worktrees. Assume the work that was being committed at the end of each session. What he didn't know was that Claude Code was cleaning up the previous session worktrees at the start of each new session. 10 days of code, gone. Not a hypothetical, real ticket, real developer. I mean, here it is right here on GitHub. The reason that this one stuck to me is because he wasn't doing anything like obviously wrong. The session ended, the agent didn't error. He just trusted the workflow to preserve the work, and the workflow didn't do that. So how did this happen? Well, the normal cleanup behavior from Claude is when you exit a worktree session, the behavior depends on the state of the worktree. What that means is if there are no changes at all, no uncommitted edits, no untracked files, no new commits, the worktree and its branch are automatically removed. If there are any changes or commits, Claude prompts you. So you literally have to say yes or no. You get to choose to keep or remove. Keep preserves the directory and everything, and if you click remove, it deletes everything. All your changes, all your unpushed commits, literally everything. Therefore, make sure that you commit at the end of every work tree and that you push it if you want to hold on to the repository. If you push it, it will absolutely not be deleted, and then you can always go back and create the PR if needed. If Claude asks, should I clean up this work tree? And if you've done any real work in there, do not delete it. You can always remove manually later on. The cleanup is reversible. The deletion is not. Hope you're able to learn something, and I'll see you in the next.